Let's talk about headphone. Let's talk about FiiO headphone. And in particular, what I have with me here, this FiiO JT1, which is the most affordable range of headphone from FiiO. And here it is, JT1. So, as usual, if you are based in Malaysia, and you can get this JT1 at a very attractive price of 299 Malaysian ringgit, as you can see here, all right, in Shopee. And internationally, it would mean that this JT1 is priced at 63 US dollar, quite competitive and attractive, I would say. So let's just have a quick look at the build, the construction of this JT1 and what you're going to get inside the box here. Okay, so of course, the headphone itself, and you would notice that it is detachable. It comes with this detachable cable. Okay, it also has this carrying case, just in case you need to store it. Okay, and talking about headphone, the first and foremost when it comes to headphone is that the build, the construction, and the wear factor of it. So as you can see here, this is steel headband. So this steel headband, the good thing about it is that you would notice that my head is quite big, okay, wide, I have to admit. So I was able to bend it like that, okay, and it stays like that, so that I would be able to actually stretch it properly over my wide head here. And this thing is super comfortable, the padding here. And then the most important part of this headphone, as noted here at the configuration itself, okay, have a look. This is a circumaural headphone, which means that it has this huge circular thing which encompasses the whole ear, so it does not sit on the ear, okay? And the pad itself, have a closer look at this. This is a very soft velour, smooth velour pad, which is surprisingly super comfortable as well. And inside here, you're gonna find it is breathable, despite this being smooth and close. And have a look at that. Spongy, soggy in fact. And soggy by means is that it has some sort of memory. So once I start using it, let's just attach it, okay? As how I would have used it, okay? This is the cable itself, nicely, constructed cable, 3.5 mm single-ended. And then you would notice that it has this 4-pole here, which means that this JT1 also support microphone. You see here? Very nice, right? Okay, so the attachment is similar to Hi-Fi Man standard, which is pretty much here. You put it on each side with this mono plug here. Okay, once you adjust the headband, get the ear pad all dial up like this, wear it like that, boom, very comfortable headphone. Okay, and inside here you're gonna find 50 mm single DD, which is N52 magnet, which is I think quite common. And the impedance rating for this JT1 is rated at 32 ohm, which is quite common as well for this type of headphone, and sensitivity at over 100 at 103 dB. So let's talk about driving this JT1 properly first. Okay, yes, true indeed, I was able to use it, casually for listening purposes, using this my phone of mine, listening to Tidal. Okay, no problem at all. I was able to get satisfying level of volume and loudness out of it. But I must say that perhaps in order to get the best out of this JT1, just like most 50 mm dynamic driver headphone, it sound better with the proper pairing partner. And in this case, let's talk about the sound signature of this JT1. This is something which I consider as near neutral sort of tuning. So as you can see there, I classified it as being balanced, near neutral. And I will talk a bit more on that as well. Okay, so when I listen to this, it largely depends on the source. Okay, for example, if I attach it to something which is from FiiO themselves, like this FiiO Q15, which is one of my favorite now, okay, and also this Hebe FC6, and also this Central Deckport HD. These are something which I consider as natively analog sounding, natural and organic, yet neutral, perhaps a bit colored with this Q15. These three listening partner, right, sounded the best when it comes to pairing with this JT1, because natively this JT1 does appear to be a bit bright. when I attach it to something which is a bit flatter, neutral, right? Like this FiiO BTR15 here, okay? And also this Burson Audio Playmate 2 which I have. Now, when we talk about resolution, this is fairly analytical and resolving, also largely depending on which partner you attach it to. I get the most details and the most macro and micro detail from this Q15 obviously, and also from Burson Audio Playmate 2, and also from this FC6 here, and even this BTR15. But not so much if I were to attach it to something which is more common like this mobile phone of mine, or even some of the smaller dongle. It is musical, but not very analytical at all. So when we talk about the sound, some of the element which I think important also to understand is that it handles the energy really well. It does not appear offensive, especially when even subjected to certain rock or metal music or any type of mastering or recording which is natively, bright sounding. And then let's talk about the 3 dynamic range. Okay, so when we talk about treble, I did mention earlier that this thing is a bit bright. So yes, it does resolve, extend quite well when it comes to the upper frequency, and even transparent, because I am getting a bit of hint there. If I subject it to listening to something which is lower resolution, something like a music from YouTube, the treble region from that certain type of music, even certain mastering in Tidal, I kind of hearing some sort of, let's say, artifact with the uppermost region of the treble itself. So that indicate that 2 things. First, this thing is resolving. It resolves very well with the micro detail of the decay of the upper frequency, and it does appear to be resolving some of the artifact as well. So that is resolution and transparency in the upper frequency. So I would say that is impressive, okay, for something which is relatively regarded as budget headphone. And then when you talk about mid-range, now perhaps this is the best part. Mid-range of this JT1 is transparent, neutral. I do not hear any kind of coloration. So the vocal, different type of vocal, be it contralto, baritone, or even soprano, it sounded as how they should be. Okay, there's no hint of warming there. There's no hint also of drying when it comes to vocal and the instrument itself. Different type of instrument, from percussion, from string guitar, or even electronic. They sounded as how they are supposed to be, which indicate that this JT1 is also transparent sounding. So when it comes to bass, okay, I'd just like to clarify, right? As noted, being close to neutral, it also means that this is not suitable for people who love big bass. Don't get this if you expect big bass, okay? This is more like more balanced tuning for bass. It offers fast, tidy, smooth transient of the bass itself with very proper, very well balanced segregation between mid bass and sub bass. And the decay itself, perhaps my critique of this JT1 is that it does not extend really well when it comes to sub bass. I am hearing some decay. It is focused a bit more on being crisp, but also it also means that being crisp, it's extend not as deep. Okay, it is still smooth enough, crispy, but it doesn't extend far like some other headphone which I have tested. Okay, and perhaps another element which is very important. You see, when you attach sitting to a PC like mine here, most of the time probably aside from listening to music, you'll be playing games. If you play game like me a lot, the most important thing which I have found is that the sound stage of this JT1 is, again, another element which surprised me, is wide and open. Partly because it is an open back, so it behaves like an open back headphone, so you already get openness there, but it also wide. Let me just, quickly bring to you some of the headphone which I have here. I am very familiar with, okay? So let's start with this Venture Electronic Supernova. You see, this Supernova is in shambles, and for very good reason. This is a $50 budget headphone, which is designated as monitoring headphone. And the reason it looks like this because I have been using it quite extensively, okay? That's how a very well used headphone look like. Okay, for the first differences between this JT1 and this Supernova is that, of course, this Supernova being closed back, so it seals more noises from interfering into the sound, and your audience will not, around you, will not be hearing what you are listening. But this is open back, so it behave differently with that. So which also means that this JT1 have a bit more of open sound presentation, where this is obviously being closed back, sound a bit close. But when it comes to When it comes to the sound transparency itself, pretty much I would say that both of them are on equal terms. All right, they are suitable even for monitoring because the mid-range does not sound colored on both of them. And I would even say that perhaps when it comes to certain small nuances, which I notice is that a bit more energy as observed from this supernova when it comes to the upper frequency. So it kind of a bit resolve a bit more with the imaging of the upper frequency, but not to say that this thing is lacking. It's just that this JT1 seems to be a bit more smoother with the way it present the imaging itself. So I can literally use any one of them, but most likely I will not be using this anymore because you see here it is already detached. Thank you, Supernova. I have FT1 now, JT1 now. Okay, the next comparison would be against this another headphone which I have reviewed recently, very recently, which is this Harmonic Dyne Black Hole. Okay, you will probably have seen my video on it. Okay, and as you can see, both of them pretty much identical in many ways. Both circumaural. Both this is like semi-open. This is fully open. The size is the same. Both super comfortable. 50 mm diameter, but the differences stop there, okay? Or should I say the similarity stop there. One of the major differences between these two is the tuning itself. This is definitely V sound curve, okay? This is designed to be more fun for casual listening, for entertainment. So if you like engaging, vibrant sound, if you listen to rock metal music, and the reason I say that rock metal music because this is definitely warmer sounding than this JT1. So this is also not suitable for monitoring because of lacking of accuracy. This is colored, whereas this is a bit more transparent. And of course, when we talk about monitoring, right, the most recent acquisition which I have and which is also legendary, this 33-year-old technology from Sony MDR7506. Okay, the main difference is that, again, first, with this Sony MDR7506 is that this is closed back and also this is supraaural. As you can see the pad here, it sits on top of your ear rather than over the ear, like that. And to put things into perspective, this is a pure thoroughbred monitoring headphone. For 33 years, this 7506 has been regarded as the truthful, if you want to do monitoring, you serious about it, at least you're going to get this, okay? So how does it compare with this JT1? I would say that they compare very closely, right? Because of that transparency element. But I must admit, okay, there's a reason for this thing to become a legend. It is also a bit more expensive than this JT1, of course. It resolves, clearer on the upper frequency, especially preserving neutrality, preserving transparency, does not sound appear colored, but yet you get strong imaging, crisper imaging when it comes to the way it resolves the decay, the upper energy of the upper frequency. And this is definitely less forward with the upper frequency itself. Whereas when it comes to the lower frequency, again, the overall presentation of this Sony MDR7506 is definitely suitable for monitoring because it has the best presentation of sound accuracy overall compared against this JT1. Setting the expectation correct is the key thing here. All right. For as long as you keep the budget anywhere between, let's say, under $100, this is definitely one of the headphones which I would recommend. But if you demand a bit more of high fidelity, definitely you should go for something like this Sennheiser HD600 here. Okay, which is one, again, similar to Sony MDR7506, has been the reference standard for a very long time. Or even like this Hi-Fi-Man Sundara here, which give you a bit more of transient speed and resolution when it comes to handling the more difficult, higher resolution sort of micro and macro detail. Okay, so again, keeping the perspective reasonable, this FiiO JT1 is an easy recommendation for me if you look to spend no more than $100.